Hey everybody, Aaron here, and today we are talking famous people. So during the big COVID shutdown, I did a whole bunch of videos, and one of them was called something like Famous People Who Use Warmoth or something like that. And I started out talking about famous people who use Warmoth, and then about a minute in I distracted myself and I started telling stories from NAMM and never came back to the famous people, and I took a lot of flack about that. People weren't happy about that. I took a lot of heat in the comments, so I figured I would go back and revisit that topic, and this time I'm going to focus like a laser on just the famous people. And since this is just a talking video, you know, I'm at work now, so I don't have my mug anymore, but this is my my travel mug. And by the way, I guess I'll do a little bit of buzz marketing. This is a Zojirushi Travel Mug, and these things are like black magic when it comes to keeping beverages warm. I don't know if you can see, but this one's pretty worn out because I use this at every gig. I'll fill this up with tea at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I will just leave it in my car the whole time, and then 1 or 2 in the morning after I've loaded out, I have nice hot tea that I can sip on the drive home, and then by the time I pull into my driveway, I've drifted off into a nice peaceful slumber. So yeah, Zojirushi, best mugs ever. I don't know how they keep stuff that warm for that long, but it's crazy. Anyway, that's my gigging tip for today. Now on to the name dropping, which is something I don't often do, but a lot of people seem to be interested in it. So I'm going to give a list. I typed up a list so I don't forget anybody. And this is only a partial list. I mean, pretty much any famous guitar player you can name is going to have some experience with using Warmoth parts. These are only people that I have worked with directly or that I have verifiable knowledge of. And like I said, I made a list because I don't want to forget anybody. Joe Walsh, Billy Gibbons have both ordered lots of Warmoth parts. Of course, Rivers Cuomo from Weezer is very famous for using Warmoth parts. Chris Shiflett from the Foo Fighters. Dweezil Zappa, a couple months ago in one of the magazines, I think it might have been Premier Guitar, there was a picture of Dweezil Zappa with a guitar he made that used a Warmoth hybrid Strat replacement body. Oh, and by the way, I would post photos of a lot of these, but I don't have the rights to use these photos. So if you do a little searching on Google, you'll be able to find them pretty easy. Jason Becker, a couple years ago, we made a Strat replacement body for Jason Becker that we bronzed. That was a fun project. Joe Perry from Aerosmith, he has an old Strat that has a right-hand reverse telly neck on it, I believe. It's an old Sunburst Strat, and he put that Warmoth replacement neck on it. You can find pictures of that pretty easy. Maddy Rice from The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, I think she has a soloist with a Warhead neck on it. Paul Crook played with Meatloaf. He's done solo stuff. Vivian Campbell, who's with Def Leppard now, but back in the day when he played with Dio, the Night Swan prototypes were made from Warmoth parts. The original Lightning Bolt one and the original Polka Dot one were both made from Warmoth parts. Andy Irvine from the Daily Funk Club, great bassist and a health and personal fitness guru, has some basses made from Warmoth parts. Eric Wilson from Sublime also plays a Gecko bass, or at least played a Gecko bass. Scotty Hill from Skid Row. Billy Sheehan, bassist extraordinaire, has ordered some replacement parts for some of his old basses. Sam Colson, guitarist who played with Asia for a number of years, 5 or 6 or 7 years maybe, and most recently toured with We Will Rock You, the musical, has several guitars made from Warmoth parts. Brandon Brown, Instagram sensation and Kid Wonder, is also a guy who has guitars made from Warmoth parts. Clark Vogler from the Toadies. And by the way, in my cover band days, I played Possum Kingdom and I Come From the Water. Those were in regular rotation. Love playing those songs. Anyway, he has guitars made with Warmoth parts. Stephen Chesney, he's a LA guitarist who's played with a lot of the guys in the LA scene. Steve Von Till from Neurosis. Jeff Loomis from Arch Enemy and Nevermore also has a guitar made with Warmoth parts. I get asked all the time if Warmoth made the original guitar that Eddie Van Halen played, and the answer is no. Those parts were Boogie Body parts, which Boogie Bodies is the company that Jim Warmoth and Lynn Ellsworth formed together. So the parts are Boogie Bodies, but they do have a loose tie-in to Warmoth because Boogie Bodies was Jim Warmoth and Lynn Ellsworth's company together. So those are all the ones that I have direct knowledge of. And a lot of those guys I've talked with. Some of them I've even become friends with. To the ones I'm not friends with, what are you waiting for? I'm a nice guy. Just let me know what you need. I can send you some, references or whatever. So reach out to me. Anyway, those are famous people who use Warmoth. If you know other famous people who use Warmoth, if I left somebody off my list, make sure and put it in the comments because I'm curious. I always like to keep track of that. And yeah, that's it. Famous people who use Warmoth, Zojirushi Travel Mug. And until next time, wash your hands, be kind, and keep on picking.